The cowboy perspective. Well, it might be hard to define, but I guarantee if you think about it, you've got one in mind. Whether you're building a legacy, an empire, or a fan base, I bet when your friends look at you, they see some cowboy in your face. Y'all come along, let's talk about this or that. Maybe when we're done, you'll go away with another perspective to put under your hat. Here we go. Mr. Rocker Steiner is my guest. I just couldn't even wait to get his name out. He's a young guy that I look up to. I've learned from. I think he's special. I think he's got a good attitude or perspective about his life and what he wants to do with it and who he wants to have in his life. So I just really appreciated that conversation he and I got to have about the things he's doing in rodeo, the career he's had in wakeboarding, his family, the people he lives around each and every day, and they're high performing people and what kind of influence they've had on him. So without further ado, let's get to talking to Rocker. Thanks for listening to the Cowboy Perspective. As always, if you enjoy it, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell me. Hey, everybody. Here we are on the Cowboy Perspective again. I got a really cool, interesting cowboy to talk to today. His name is Rocker Steiner. You've probably heard of him, and if you haven't, you need to get to following him, paying attention to what he's up to, because he's just got an awesome perspective, and I'm excited to talk about that and where it comes from and what he thinks about things. He's, I'll just say he's in a younger generation than me, and I think that's going to just be awesome for the listeners that are going to relate to Rocker a lot better than they do me, because I'm just kind of the old guy. Rocker's going to know a lot more about what's happening out there in the world of, I guess, guys between 15 and 30. Hey, Rocker, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and what you're up to these days? And then along the way, I'll ask you questions like,
all right. Well, pretty much I'm a 17-year-old bareback rider and a wakeboarder, and I come from a family of long time ago cowboys. And we've been involved in rodeo for over 100 years, and my family's been, we're putting on rodeos. I mean, when rodeo was just coming around, and heck, they kind of got out of it, and they came back because my dad cracked out in the bulldogging when he started when he was 19, and my Baba was a world champion. My dad got to be a world champion, and we got out, and we were kind of out until I decided I want to ride bareback horses, and we just got back into it, and it always comes back around. So that's just kind of how I got into rodeo, and I was a wakeboarder from the time I was 3 till now, and that's just
you were wakeboarding at 3?
Yeah, I got up on my first wakeboard at 3 years old.
Okay, so I see you on social media some doing barefoot skiing with, what do you call your granddad?
Baba,
and your dad and Ty Murray and all these other people that you guys do stuff with. So where would somebody go follow you on social media to see some of this stuff we're going to end up talking about?
They can find me. I'm pretty much only on Instagram. I don't do much Facebook, but they can find me at Rocker_Steiner.
All right, cool. Everybody go check out Rocker_Steiner. You can see some of this wakeboarding, bareback riding stuff.
We pretty much do it all.
Yeah, that's right. And we're in a room here with a bunch of his buddies and stuff, and they're
Clayton Sellers over here flexing his big nipples around.
Yeah, right. But I tell you, I love this whole atmosphere because it was part of my life when I was rodeoing. Like, your dad was somebody I watched when I was rodeoing, and he always impressed me, just like, wow, Sid just won a world championship and went and did something else. That was like his deal.
Yeah, he always says rodeo was just a part of his life. It wasn't his life.
Yeah. So you've been wakeboarding since you were 3. I'm sorry, I interrupted your story a little bit. Good. So what do you love about that wakeboarding, or what have you done in the wakeboarding sport?
I got up at 3, and then I really didn't think about wakeboarding until I was 8, like really get into it, because I saw some videos of some kids around my age doing it, and I was like, hey, I can do that. I can't just ride a wakeboard. I can do that.
Right.
So I got into that, and, I went to my first wakeboard competition at 8, and it was Worlds, and I got stomped bad. And then I came back, next year and won it. And that kind of, as much as I thought that helped me winning the world at such a young age and only wakeboarding for a year. It almost gave me too early of an success to where I thought I had everything figured out.
Yeah.
And, that honestly held me back for a long time. It still does, just because, I didn't learn as much as I should have as a young age. And I skipped a lot of steps. I didn't crawl before I could walk. I just got up and started running.
Well,
so.
yeah, your athletic ability, just natural, innate athletic ability gave you a chance to win the worlds.
Yeah.
But you didn't take each little step.
Yeah, I didn't learn the basics of wakeboarding because I did a tantrum, which is a backflip, before I could do a ollie 180.
Yeah.
I just started.
You just started doing stuff.
So I didn't learn the basics of wakeboarding, and I just didn't crawl. I just hopped up and started running, and honestly, that held me back. And then winning the world at an early success was honestly, because I think I say that a lot. I think early success is, it can be really good if you can take it that way.
I think, has anybody told you that, or is that something you're figuring out on your own? See, that's impressive at your age to understand that.
Yeah, and that's on, like, wakeboarding. It's funny because right when I got into wakeboarding, or right when I got into bareback riding, I was like, wow, wakeboarding helped my bareback riding, because I'm 17 and I haven't gone to really any big rodeos, but that's kind of the only thing I'm putting through my brain is, if you do start winning at an early start,
yeah,
there's more to go.
Don't let it go to your head,
done.
right?
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of kids, and I'm not gonna name any names, but they have some bareback riders, they've kind of started winning a lot as a young kid, and just kind of thought that they had it made and stopped listening, and it hurts them.
Sure. Well, at my age, I need to keep listening. I need to learn from you. I think that's a valuable thing for everybody to think about. You never actually have it made. There's no finish line in life. You always have to be going towards. Now, okay, so that's a little bit of a ramble, but I'm curious about a lot of things.
Yeah.
You're just making me think. So why would you pick bareback riding? Your dad did steer wrestling. Your granddad did bull riding, if I'm right.
Yes.
And so why bareback riding?
I've always just kind of been the kid that had a lot of try for whatever he was doing. Not to brag on myself, but
hey, it's okay though. You can you should be proud of those things. It's okay to own it and say, hey, I have a lot of try.
Yeah.
I've been around you. We've been branding calves. You're learning to flank calves.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this to people: cowboys will forgive almost anything if they see a lot of try.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is not be try.
Yeah.
You can screw up and not try, and they will never invite you back.
If you go to a branding and there's just some kid that's just trying to bulldog a calf or tackle or something and just not giving up, getting kicked or whatever, there's not going to be anybody that's like, dude, what are you doing? It's going to be like, dang, that kid's got a lot.
Sure, let me help you. Let me try to show you a little better way.
But that's really kind of why I picked bareback riding. And honestly, I didn't even pick bareback riding. I didn't even know what bareback riding was, to be honest. When I was 13, I went to a wakeboard competition. I did good. I didn't end up on the podium, and it's pretty much wow, these guys are better than me. This sucks.
Right.
And it kind of put into my mind, maybe I'm just not competing enough. And my dad was like, well, maybe we just need to get you a horse and you can start team roping. There's team ropings every weekend. And I was like, cool. I'll start doing it. And then we told my granddad, my baba, and he was like, I think Rocker needs to ride bareback horses. He's got a lot of try, and that's all that it is.
Yeah.
He's like, that's for 10 seconds, it's all try. It's a fight. And I was like, I looked up saw a video of a kid around my age getting on bareback horses, and he got slammed. It was a bad video for me to watch, but I was like, wow, that looks really fun.
Yeah.
And so, we ordered some chutes, got some little bucking horses, and my baba was like, what if you don't like it? We're gonna have to sell all this stuff. And I was like, I know I like it.
Right.
And he's like, you haven't even been on yet. And I was like, I know.
I already know.
I already know I like it.
I can see I like it.
And the first 4 months was really bad. I think I made one decent ride in 4 months, and but the whole time it was like, run another one and run another. I think I got on 10 horses a week.
Really?
5 horses. I got on
and
2 times a week.
That takes a beat. Your body just takes a beating.
And I was
in
13.
bareback riding. Yeah.
When I was 13, I'm still small to this day, but when I was 13, I was probably, I want to say I was 4'9", 60 pounds.
Right. Those horses had quite the advantage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I picked bareback riding, because it's a fight.
Yeah, cool. Now, okay, so that makes me want to ask, have you ever got into boxing, MMA? Like, do you train that way? Like, what makes you think a fight is fun?
Well, I'm not gonna say that fighting's fun, but it's like what I watched a movie the other day, and it was like for 3 rounds, you're gonna show who you are,
Yeah.
and that's what a fight is. Is you can be getting hitting them, boxing, whatever, and for however many rounds, however long it goes on, you're showing who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what bareback riding is. For 8 seconds, 10 seconds, you're gonna show who you are.
Yeah, sure. So tell me this about you. Do you look at any top bareback riders in the sport today and think, ooh, I want to ride like that? Or are you just like, I'm Rocker, I'm gonna ride like Rocker?
Yeah, I kind of went through this in my brain the other day because I was watching some stuff of like old rock stars, and they were saying that they listen to a bunch of different music to create their genre of how they want to play, and I think that's how bareback riding is, because I'm like, love the way Casey Field rides, love the way Tilden Hooper rides, Mason Clemens, Leighton Berry, Cole Reiner. I love the way all these guys ride. How are they different, and how can I ride like every single one of them?
Yeah.
And then you take little things like I want to have fast feet and set my feet and tuck my chin like Casey Field, but I want to have the aggression of Tilden Hooper, and I want to stick my chest out like whoever, like just stuff like that.
Sure.
And it's
Well, I mean,
yeah,
the nuance of it is so crazy. Nobody understands I lived with a couple of bareback riders when I was in college. So I know, like, for whatever reason, in the rough stock side of the arena, I know the most about bareback riding just because I lived with those guys. I mean, they used to get my calf horses out there. Let's lead them around. Let me practice. But some horses are heavy, and some guys shine on heavy horses. Some guys shine on quick bucking horses. So you have to try to figure out how you can do that on all of them.
yeah.
Be versatile.
That's one thing that I'm trying. Like, I've been on only very, very good bucking horses. Like I've been on some not so great ones and stuff that like kind of hurts, but like that's kind of what I'm like. You got to ride the same every horse.
Yeah.
And that's
when you say really good, what do you mean?
like I've never been on something that's like gonna try to kill you.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? Like, just jerk you down? Like,
yeah, like
I call them heavy.
dirty.
Is that what you're talking about?
Like, I've been on some horses that buck, but I need to learn to ride the horses that are like Craig at Midnight, that are like
Craig
bad
at
to the
Midnight. Y'all look
bone.
that horse
Yeah.
up. Google Craig at Midnight,
Like,
and then
bad
you'll
to the
know what
bone.
Rocker's talking about.
But I'm also pretty young, so I guess.
Yeah, sure. You got time. See, I love you. You strike me as really mature for your age. Like, you understand.
That is the first time anybody has ever said that to
in
me.
this now I can see why that might be true. Like, you got a brand on your chest. You do some things that maybe not come across as that mature, but your mind, your thought process, the way you are willing to accept. If I was 17, I'd been like, I should have it all right now. You're smart enough to say, I may not have it all now.
I look at myself like, I think it's funny to look at myself like a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Or like 2 years ago.
What's the difference now?
I look at myself a week ago and I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
You used to be retarded.
Where do you think you get that from?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, you do. You got to get it from somewhere. Somebody has, I think you see it in your dad. I think you see it in your granddad.
Yeah, my dad always
your
says.
mom. I mean,
my
she's
dad always
pretty
says
accomplished.
that he's like, Rock, you're gonna be mesmerized by how much you change in 1 year.
Yeah.
He's like, from now to 18, he's like, it's gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, what was I like a year ago? It's a lot.
Right.
A lot. Because so I met my buddies, Leighton and Cole Reiner. They moved in to the XS Ranch a year ago.
Yeah.
And I remember hanging out with them, and I was like, wow, I was a little kid.
Right. What do those guys do? Like, tell us all a little bit about their work ethic.
That's one thing that's pretty crazy about our friendship, is that me, Cole, Leighton, and Clayton Sellers, I mean, we got all kind of the same work ethic, and we all like to, I mean, we wake up a little bit late. We would probably wake up around 10, and then We hang out for 15, 20 minutes, then we go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And we all love it. And it's not even like working at our craft is like a job. It's like we like to do it. So we don't even think that we're working.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
like, I can't wait to get in the gym and get on the bucket machine or get on the spur board or get on practice bulls or practice horses. We like to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not work. The saying, pick a job that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's true. And we're just thankful that we found that job.
So let's just talk about your mom a little bit. I mean, because from what I know, didn't she run barrels or wasn't she in the rodeo too?
Yes,
so
sir.
what's her influence on you?
Yeah, my grandmother and my mom both made the finals in the barrel racing.
There you go.
My mom made it in 2000, and I'm a terrible grandson because I cannot remember the year that my grandmother made it.
But it doesn't matter. We're talking about her and we're proud of her for it. Right?
But they got a big impact on me too, because it's a rough world out there in the rodeo world, and they pretty much all teach me that you just got to keep going. If you do bad at one rodeo, you got to keep going. And my mom even said it the other day. She's like, that's one thing. If you do bad at a rodeo, you just got to forget about it.
Yeah, that is so key. I want everybody listening to really own that statement. I could never do that. When I was rodeoing, the reason I was never successful, this is the main reason. It could have been a lot of things, but the biggest reason was I could not let go when I made bad runs. So it was just always in my head, so I could never succeed.
Yeah, Ty Murray told me. So the first guy that I ever went to when I figured out I wanted to ride bareback horses was with Ty Murray. Okay, we're going to go on with this.
Well, that's kind of straight to the top.
Yeah, right to the top. And he said the other day, he's like, Rocker, whenever I rode, I didn't even listen to my score. It's like if they sent me my check, I got a check.
Right.
It's like I just went on to the next rodeo. I didn't, and I guarantee you he didn't look at the standings. And I would talk to a lot of guys and they don't look at the standings. They don't care. They just ride in bucking horses.
See, that's so beautiful. I think that plays in everything, business, whatever you're doing, acting, you do some acting.
Yeah,
like
don't
you're
count
such
your
an
chips
interesting.
when you're up.
Yeah, that's right. Just do the thing the best you can do it. Music, it's any kind of almost like art. Just put your art out there. And then let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. I bet songwriters, they just write stuff down and it turns into a hit. It's a hit.
If it doesn't, they wanted to put it down.
Song, yeah.
So what about your uncle? We hadn't talked about him.
Yeah.
You have such an interesting family, man. It's
my
so
uncle,
cool.
He was never really into rodeo. My granddad was a world champion bull rider. My dad kind of got into it rodeo late, and my uncle Shane never showed interest. And I think he wanted to ride bulls. I think he kind of wanted to ride bulls when he was, I'm going to say like he was like my age, 17.
Yeah.
And my baba put him on a ranch horse at Bucks and he got bucked off. And the next day he was like, man, I'm sore. And he's like, well, if you want to be a bull rider, get used to it.
That's right.
And then he was like, maybe I don't want to do this. So, but my dad and him were heading to school one day and Shane was singing in the car. And my dad went back to my granddad and was like, hey, Shane can sing.
Yeah.
Shane went to a Garth Brooks concert and was like,
that's what I want to do.
Yeah. And he just kind of got into that, and he played some shows and started playing guitar and got into that deal and hit the road and got pretty homesick after a while and just came home. Was done.
Yeah, cool. I mean, though I love kind of making a study of the Steiner family because you guys are just a great group, a great family, a great way for somebody to watch and just say, hey, these guys, they just win at everything. Like, not most people can't just look up and go have a music career.
Yeah.
Your uncle did. Most people can't just wake up and go be a world champion steer wrestler or start bareback riding. You know?
That's one thing is I look at it as like, man, my whole family is successful. And not to say it in a bad way, but I mean, like everything, I don't know if it's that we have good luck, if we just got a lot of try or what, but that's one thing I'm proud of is and another thing that I have in my brain is, man, I could pick up a dirt bike and I could go race dirt bikes and be the best, or
right.
I could pick up, I don't know, I could throw rocks farther than him. I don't know, something.
Sure,
I'm like, man, I can do this.
You just believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I don't know if that's what, I guess that's what it is, but whatever it is, I'm thankful for my family for it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I think it's like, I don't even feel like you feel pressure to do anything great or anything. Maybe you do, you could correct me, but you're just proud of
Yeah.
your family.
No,
Wow,
I
they're
don't
all
feel.
successful.
That's one thing people keep saying to me is, man, like your grandfather was a world champion, your dad's a world champion. Like you got pressure on you. I'm like, no, I don't. I
Yeah.
have no pressure on me because my dad loved bulldogging. My grandfather loved riding bulls. I love riding bareback horses. Like I got no pressure on me. I'm not.
Yep. You don't
trying.
have to live up
Yeah.
to anything.
Yeah.
You're just doing what you
Yeah,
love.
I'm just going out there riding bareback horses. It's not like I'm like, I have to win a world championship like right now. No, I'm just out here riding bucking horses, having fun and hanging out with my buddies. And I mean, and if I do get one of these days, hell yeah.
Right. I think a lot of the way we tell stories in America kind of puts that pressure. It makes the pressure up. It's like Ty, his story. I want to beat Larry Mahan's 7-time world championship, all around world championships. Turned out he did that, or, he wanted to beat Larry Mahan's record. But when he was writing that definitely wasn't his sole focus. He was just doing a thing he loved, and that would have been a result of it. It's like leading and lagging indicators. Leading indicators are all the work you put in that nobody sees. The lagging indicator is the gold buckle.
Yeah. Ty told a story the other day. He was like, the weird thing was I had a goal of winning however many world championships. And he was like, when I won my first one, it was like, okay, we got one down. We have 6 to go.
It wasn't that big a deal. Yeah. I think you see a lot of successful people kind of doing that way. They love the pursuit of it almost more than the actual winning of it.
Yeah, no, it's the journey.
Yeah.
It's Dad said it the other day too. He was like, the fun thing about it was about rodeoing is getting to the rodeo. He's like, it's the okay, I have to go to this rodeo, I have to go to these 5 rodeos in 2 days.
Yeah.
To make the finals. Like I'm gonna have to try my ass off to get here so I can live this dream of mine.
Yeah.
And it's the journey of getting there and work.
Sure.
To get to your goal.
Yeah. And it's enjoying the process that makes most successful people.
If you go out hunting and a deer just walks up to you and you shoot it, it's not gonna be as fun as sitting in a blind for a week.
Putting the work in.
Putting the work in.
I got to tell y'all about one of the sponsors of the podcast. It's Little Buster Toys. Check them out at www.littlebustertoys.com. They got some of the coolest stuff you can't find anywhere else. They've put out a new line of show animals, show sheep, pigs, steers, trim chutes, show pens, shavings, little squares for shavings for the animal stay. If you are a show animal family, I'm telling you, you're going to love these toys. My kids love playing with them, and I think there's something really unique you can't find anywhere else. So go check them out. Use TCP5 for a 5% discount. Thanks to the Cowboy Perspective. We appreciate you listening. Enjoy. Hey, TCP Nation. I got to tell you about Newton's at the Cellar. I'm sitting here eating some appetizers right in front of the man himself, Mike Newton. Hey, Mike, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about these appetizers we have in front of us, and then I'll tell them where to go to get them themselves.
Well, we got little crawfish bites. These are going to be lightly breaded crawfish tails we deep fried. We also serve them with a little bit of a Cajun aioli sherry sauce, basically a sherry mayonnaise, a little kick to it. Then we also have our deviled eggs. They're going to be a sweet bacon crusted from Peterson Farms. Deviled egg. It is pretty good.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I've already ate one, and I can guarantee, verify, tell you for sure, they are very good. Everything they do here is really good. Mike, where's the address, or how does somebody get? Matter of fact, there's a young lady walking out the front door right now to this big fire pit. He parks right out in the front parking lot. She's putting on some ribs. People, please come see Newton's at the Cellar here in Stephenville, just west of the square. What else should I tell them, Mike?
It's at 230 West College Street. You can find it. Have a big white old Ford truck with a smoker on the front of it. 4 days a week. You'll see us Wednesday through Saturday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday lunch. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. Come in. If you want to make a reservation, go to our website at Newton's Cellar. And you can go to you can make a reservation from there. We do recommend a reservation. We will take walk-ins with no problem. But you'll see our little open table on our website at newtonscellar.com.
And tell them the Cowboy Perspective sent you, just so I can feel good about it. Thanks for listening, and really, Newton's at the Cellar is one of a kind. Come see it. I think you got a unique perspective, which you just weren't around. Do you understand how your dad changed the sport? Has
I
anybody
wasn't
ever brought
there.
that up?
I wasn't there. He won the world in '02 and quit in '02, and I
Yeah,
was born in
right.
'03.
I got
So I wasn't. I wish I was there, but I wasn't. But I kind of feel like
his
I know.
personality changed the sport. I mean, he was at the finals wearing these shaggy shirts, cornrows in his hair, and just kicking everybody's butt, riding a horse called Slim Shady. I mean, just everything he did was so unique. I think you're going to be a lot that way. Like even you said it a second ago. Well, I might just pick a dirt bike up and go do that. It's like in your mind, you're not tied to any one thing. I think that's so valuable for everybody out there to think about that. I think probably to be at the pinnacle of success, you're going to have to focus on bareback
Yes.
riding and spend that work.
Being great at anything is very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's, hitting golf ball, being great at golf is very, very hard. Being great at team roping is very, very hard. Being great at being a photographer is anything being the best at it is very, very hard.
Yeah.
So, no matter what it is, nobody was just, if they're great at something, they worked for it.
If it's easy, there won't be any value in it. At the end of the day, everybody could do it.
Yeah, but heck, on the other note, I hope I can change a sport like Dad did.
Yeah, cool. I think you can. I think you already are. You're bringing another demographic, another age group. Like you're showing up on Yellowstone. Your people have a chance to learn something just by watching Rocker Steiner. So
yeah, heck, that's kind of what I'm all about too, is showing people that, I was a wakeboarder. I was pretty much a skating punk. If you want to do something, you can do it.
Man, and you said it before we started recording that anybody can be a cowboy. It's not about how you look. I was saying, man, first time I ever saw you had dreadlocks and, we're at Ty's Branding. That's really where I got to know you. And, you just did not look the part of what somebody might think is a cowboy.
That's one thing about what's cool about being a cowboy is I'm going to say 99% of the cowboys dress up like a cowboy, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can dress however you want and act however. Maybe not act however you want. Yeah, you can. But
there's a certain thing that comes with cowboy.
I think what being a cowboy is, I think it's never quitting.
Yeah.
And if you look at any cowboy, they get into anything, they're never going to quit.
Right. You never fail as long as you're trying.
Yeah, no, you can't fail if you're still trying, because when you quit, that's when you fail.
Yeah. That's so true. Everybody listen to that. Johnny's my guy that produces the show or helps me. Like there's a yeehaw, man, because that is so true. You never fail if you're trying.
Yeah.
You might not win. Maybe nobody
as long as you're trying, you're never done.
Yeah. That plays in business, bareback riding, wakeboarding, anything. Yeah. Songwriting.
Yeah. If you're still trying, you can't fail.
Yep. Okay, I'm just looking around the room. I've seen these guitars over there. Do you play guitar?
I'm going to say I barely play guitar. But,
yeah, right.
I play a good bit of guitar just because I think it's pretty cool to play guitar.
That's right. Like, I love that. Your perspective on stuff is just so awesome. That's pretty cool to play guitar. I'm going to play it.
Ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be really good at everything.
Yeah.
And playing guitar, I've got drums downstairs, skateboards. I kind of do a little bit of everything just because everybody always says jack of all trades, master of none. But I've always kind of wanted to be jack of all trades, master of them all.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. Okay, so what's something you're not good at?
Math.
Math, right. I figured that might be some thing where it wants to put you in a box. I think is probably something you're not real inclined to embrace.
Yeah, that's one thing. I've never been real good at school. I was good at school, but I never cared too much to really get real good at
Well, you're 17. Are you in school still, or like?
I'm homeschooled, but I don't know a whole lot of school.
Yeah.
But I mean, technically, I am.
Yeah. For anybody listening, Rocker does do all the work. He's
I do
to.
all the work.
Yeah. Right.
Every bit of it.
Well, I think it's also insightful for people to hear and understand that school isn't the only thing in life. I mean, it is important. You probably know how to read. You probably know how to do math. You know some things that you're going to have to be able to know, but you're learning a whole other very important group of things out there, which is just how to build a career, be aggressive, never quit, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. If you listen to anybody that's not a doctor or like a lawyer or something, they'll tell you that they learned nothing in college.
Yeah.
They're
I would say that. No, actually, I couldn't say I learned nothing, but I didn't learn. What I did learn in college was networking, my friends, how to live on my own. But it wasn't really the school that I learned from.
But kind of if I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something, I would have to.
Yeah.
But I want to be a bareback rider, and you don't have to go to college for that.
Sure.
Or go to school for that. So,
what's your perspective on money? Like,
if you're always making money, you can't go broke.
Right. Do you think about that? Like, you're probably not making money riding bareback horses right now.
No.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody is.
And at 17, almost everybody still relies on their parents to help them. Is your goal, do you have a goal to make money, or is money not a thing in your life?
My dad said it to me when I was real little. He's like, you got till you're 20, you got till you're 28 to have some fun.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's kind of when you have to grow up. When you hit 30, you're growing up. Like you're a man now. Like,
right.
Now you got other things to worry about. So he's like, when you're young, do what you want, and after that, then we'll start doing some stuff.
Yeah, sure. No, well, that's cool. I mean, that's a good perspective. It's a little different than some people's, right?
You got your whole life to be old and to have a job.
Yeah.
You're when you're young, that's when you're having some fun.
Sure. Which I did. I mean, I pretty much did whatever I wanted.
Yeah, but my family's into real estate, and that's what my whole family does. So that's what I'm planning on.
Cool. So you like it? You like real estate, or you're like, that's a means to money?
I'm kind of like my dad's real good at My dad's real good. He's got a real good imagination for ranches, so he can see a dusty old rock and polish it into something gold.
Right. See, that's when you add value, it pays you, right? So that's cool. That's a cool insight.
Yeah. So I kind of got my dad to help me, and I kind of got some dad in me. My dad in me.
Is there anything you want to tell anybody out there that maybe I haven't asked you about, or thing you want to get out there?
I don't think so.
All right, cool. Well, I want to say thanks for letting me come just explore your mind a little bit. It's valuable to me. Like, I learned something from you. I think people that listen to the Cowboy Perspective can learn something from you. I can't be Rocker Steiner, but I can take a little piece of that and put it into what I do, selling bacon or doing a podcast or whatever thing I do, and say, oh yeah, I like that about Rocker. I'm going to try to use that in my life. So I really appreciate you doing this with me and spending some time exploring what you're up to.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm always down to talk into a microphone.
Yeah, that's
you
cool.
can never be too good at interviews.
Well,
or podcasts.
and there you go. I'm thinking also. So tell me about the experience of acting and that kind of thing. Like, what's that about?
I wasn't too much of an actor. I just had a mean bug face, but my dad was the actor. But I've always liked something about talking into a camera is.
You're not scared of it.
No, but I mean, sometimes I get nervous, and I've done some bad interviews, and always being good at interviews and being able to talk and speak fluently in any situation has always kind of been like, I can't get too good at this.
Right.
So I'm going to keep doing it.
It's so valuable to you. Really, once you're not afraid of the camera, you can talk. See, like, I didn't provide you any questions. We just sat down on the spur of the moment. Like, we weren't even planning this until an hour ago.
There will be some interviews where they'll throw some stuff in, and like my ADHD kicks in, and I'm like going in on like the conversation, how I think they're going to say it. And then they say something completely different. I'm like,
Right. Well,
That
even I'm
wasn't
doing it.
anything like what I thought you were going to say. Or they'll tell you the questions that they're going to ask and ask you different questions. You're like, you can't do that.
Right.
That was so different.
A lot of times I feel like the preparation kind of hurts the conversation, because if you're expecting this and you've got all these thoughts in your head of what you want to say instead of just saying what you know, what you live, what you know. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody out there in TCP Nation. Go check Rocker Steiner out. Google him. What was your Instagram again?
Rocker_Steiner.
Follow Rocker_Steiner, and go do that thing that you love, because if you do your passion, you won't work a day in your life.
That's it.
Well, here's the outro. We're done. Wasn't that fun? I'm telling you, I enjoyed it. I learned something. I hope you did. And Rocker, if you're listening back to this and you bothered listening this whole way, I thank you so much for your time spending it with me and just shooting me straight, what you think. I think that's such a cowboy thing to do. Shoot people straight. Just tell them honestly and openly how you feel, what you think, what you're going through. So my hat's off to you, Senor. Thank you for your time. Good luck with everything you do. And everybody listening, go check Rocker out. Check him out on Instagram. Look him up. He'll be a fun person to follow along with as he goes and builds the career he's going to have. Until next time, see you later. The Cowboy Perspective is produced by Neil Dudley and Straight Up Podcasts. Graphics are done by Root and Rome Creative Studio, and the music is by Byron Hill Music.